Hey there, friends. I want to share a story with you. It's about something serious, but I'll make it simple so you can understand. It's about a famous person named Yung Miami. You've probably heard of her. She's in a music group called City Girls. They make super fun songs. But this story isn't about music. It's about Yung Miami standing up in court to tell her truth about another famous person, Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy is a big music star, and for a while, they were really close. They went to parties, rode on fancy boats, and seemed like a happy team. But now, Yung Miami has a much different story to share. The courtroom was so quiet that you could hear yourself think. The judge asked the next person to come up and speak. Everyone turned their heads. The big wooden doors opened and in came Yung Miami. People gasped. Even Diddy, who was sitting with his lawyers, looked shocked. For years, they were one of those glittery, glamorous couples everyone talked about. But now, she wasn't there to cheer for him. She was there to tell her story against him. Yung Miami appeared composed and confident. She was dressed in a sleek black suit, with her long hair styled as elegantly as ever. Her demeanor was calm as she reflected on the unexpected nature of her current situation, suggesting it was not something she had envisioned happening in this way. She started by talking about their relationship. It began like a dream. He was nice, charming, and made her feel like she was the luckiest person alive, but that didn't last. Things started to feel not so good. She explained how Diddy would say mean things that didn't leave marks on her skin but made her feel hurt inside. It was like he knew the perfect way to make her doubt herself. One time, she decided she wanted to leave him, but Diddy wouldn't just let her go. He sent her gifts, fancy things like purses and money, and said things that sounded like caring but felt like a warning. Can you imagine getting a super cool gift but feeling scared at the same time? That's how she felt. He often implied that she wouldn't succeed without his support, creating doubt and undermining her confidence. Shortly after, negative and embarrassing comments about her began appearing online, leading her to suspect that he was orchestrating the attacks. The next day, Yung Miami came back to court. Things felt even more serious. This time she talked about how Diddy was like two different people. The person everyone saw in pictures and videos wasn't the same as the one she spent time with alone. She said one day she was a queen, but the next day he'd act like she didn't matter. She also shared a story about how Diddy got upset during an argument. He didn't hit her, but he slammed things near her, which still felt really scary. She said it was like walking on broken glass all the time, always worried about stepping the wrong way. She said their relationship wasn't like a boyfriend and girlfriend. She didn't feel like a partner. Instead, she felt more like someone there to make him look good. On the third day, Yung Miami presented a completely different appearance. She opted for simple clothing and went without elaborate makeup, showcasing a more understated look. Her demeanor was confident as she addressed the often overlooked realities behind wealth and success, emphasizing the personal sacrifices and challenges that come with it, topics rarely acknowledged in public conversations. She explained how people thought she was lucky because Diddy gave her all kinds of expensive gifts, like cars, clothes, and even a big condo with an amazing view. But there was a catch. If she didn't do everything he wanted, like answer his calls right away, go to his parties, or post online the way he liked, he'd get mad. She called the gifts hush money. That means things that were supposed to keep her quiet. She didn't understand this at first. She just thought he was spoiling her, like when a grown-up gives you candy and it feels exciting? That's how it was at first. But later she started to see it was about control. She explained that Diddy would often give her significant amounts of cash, sometimes in luxurious bags or envelopes. While it initially felt like a generous gesture, over time it began to feel uncomfortable, as if the money was meant to keep her silent. She acknowledged that the situation could give the impression that she was being compensated in a way that undermined her integrity, even though that was not how she saw herself. At one point, Yung Miami expressed interest in using her money to invest in something for herself, such as starting a small business or purchasing a house. However, Diddy dismissed the idea, implying that she didn't need those things because of his presence and support. That's when it hit her. He didn't want her to be her own person. He wanted her to always depend on him. By the fourth day in court, Yung Miami appeared visibly emotional, her voice trembling as she spoke. For the first time, she seemed on the verge of tears. She reflected on her past, expressing regret over attending high-profile events and associating with celebrities, which she once took pride in but now wishes she had avoided altogether. She talked about how, at first, being with Diddy felt like a fairy tale. But then it turned into something that made her feel trapped. She said she even felt like she didn't own her name anymore. That's how much control he had. Sometimes even her Instagram captions had to get approved by him. Can you imagine if someone told you what to write or post every single time? That's not fun or fair. It felt like being trapped in a box where nothing was really hers, not even her words. Young Miami left the courtroom after sharing her story. Cameras flashed everywhere, and people online talked about everything she said. Some people agreed with her and some didn't. But she was brave for telling her truth. This story might make you think about your own life. Maybe you've been bossed around by someone, or you've seen someone get treated unfairly. It's never okay for anyone to make someone else feel small or trapped. Young Miami's story reminds us of something important. Even when it's scary, it's always good to stand up for yourself and speak your truth, because everyone deserves to feel safe, loved, and free to be themselves. This isn't just a story about fancy gifts, parties, and famous people. It's about understanding that being kind and treating others with respect is way more important than anything money can buy. And remember, if something doesn't feel right, it's always okay to talk to someone you trust, whether it's about friendships, family, or anything else. Being open and honest can change everything, just like it did for young Miami. If you ever feel stuck or worried, try to tell someone you care about. Sometimes adults, teachers, or friends can help you find answers or make choices that work for you. Even if it feels a little scary, it's brave to ask for help when you need it. Being kind, listening, and respecting everyone's feelings make life so much better for us all. Thanks for watching. Always remember, you are important, your feelings matter, and you deserve to be treated with kindness.